What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Back 40. This is Dayton here, along with my co-host Andy,
Hey!
Alex,
Hey!
and Nick. And we are back. This is actually going to be our second episode that is uploaded in the month of October, and so because of that, because it is the spooky season, and the spooky season is upon us, and it just happened to be Alex's month, Alex thought that it would be a good idea to get into some spooky topics this month to kind of get us in the mood for Halloween and all the spooky festivities that we will be taking part in for the next month.
Yeah! That's on my watch.
Hubert!
Cornfield.
Is that Seamus?
I mean, honestly, this kind of feels like a throwback to the very beginning of the podcast, where our first episode ever was ghost stories, and we launched that on Halloween night last year. It has been almost a year since the podcast got started.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Oh god. Let's see. I honestly can't remember when I joined. Was it?
You
was
joined
it May?
Episode 7 of this season, and we had done 22 episodes in season 1, and then you joined on episode 7 of season 2. So it was when we were at Bama was your kind of first official episode with us.
I'm so lost in time. I can't even remember what month that was.
I can't even believe it's October, bro.
That would have been June.
Crazy.
It was June.
That episode would have come out in June.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, this is a return to form for us. We're all very, very comfortable talking about spooky things and horror-related things. So for this episode, Alex thought it would be a good idea to talk about spooky and haunted places. Spooky places, haunted attractions. What he said.
Like Alex, what do you want? You wanting just in general places, or like places we've been to, personal experience? What? Both. All right.
Whatever comes to mind. Like, if you know of a place, say it. And if you know you've been to a place, say that too. If you have a story, why not?
Well, I'll go first.
What kind of scary are we
My
talking
house.
about?
What do you mean?
No, I'm just kidding.
Like the cash register at Walmart when you find out your total? Because that's
Actually, I
don't want that. I don't want that.
Okay, that's too scary.
I'm gonna kick
That
off.
is too scary.
I'm gonna kick off the episode, and then I'm gonna kick it back to Alex, so he can get us started. But I am going to kind of ruin the entire episode right now, because I'm going to talk about the spookiest place that you can ever visit, ever.
Okay.
And that place is
Really?
Chuck E. Cheese.
Ooh.
Is it because of the animatronics?
Well, have you seen the mouse, bro?
Well, I've seen.
It's so creepy.
I mean, I've seen
look.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Is that where you're basing this off of?
No. This is what it is. You got a 6-foot dude in a mouse costume, for starters.
Oh.
Secondly, most of its patrons are children. And the people who bring them there are probably single mothers that couldn't find a babysitter. And most of the staff are teenagers. I mean, it's just an all-around terrifying experience. And the pizza sucks.
So are you afraid of clowns?
It's not that good. I would agree.
You afraid of
Am I
clowns,
afraid of
Dayton?
what?
Clowns?
No, I'm not.
You're not?
I'm not.
Okay.
This was a joke, man. Alex, why don't you why don't you kick us off?
This man was being so for real.
Yeah, he would. All right. Well, I live near a town called Birmingham, Alabama, and we have a pretty haunted place there. That place is called Slosh Furnace.
Slosh
don't know.
Furnace?
Slosh Furnace.
Okay.
SLOSS.
Oh,
I will kill each and every one of you making like a bloody accident.
I didn't say anything.
Frost furnace.
Just look up furnace in Birmingham and it'll pull it up.
Furnace.
They'll have some for sale. Yeah, you'll see.
Furnace.
Did you say furthest in Birmingham?
I think I said I'm gonna kill myself. Hold on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I mean, yeah.
I hear you, bro.
Test furnace installers in Birmingham.
Ashley Home Furniture
Anybody
Store.
else? Does anybody else have anything they'd like to talk about?
Yeah, so back to Chuck E. Cheese.
Excalibur,
scary.
plumbing,
Kidding.
AC and heating, and electrical. They're
It's really scary if you can't be within 200 feet of a school or a Chuck E. Cheese. Then Chuck E. Cheese is really proud.
You sound like you're speaking from experience. You need to tell us something.
What's up, bro?
No, I knew a guy.
Oh.
his name
Oh.
was Alex Alex.
Yeah. I
Oh.
don't know what happened to him.
His name was Hubert.
You don't know what happened to him?
He disappeared.
He disappeared. Oh. Like, true story?
Oh, 100%.
Oh.
Oh, I'm getting the no talk about it. Okay, all right.
No, that was to Dayton. That was
Oh,
to Dayton. he invoked that spirit's name.
Don't do it,
I've
Dayton.
said it twice, bro.
No,
Yeah.
Don't you
say
do
it another
it.
time.
That's the name we gave it to make fun of it, man. We can say Hubert.
Hubert?
Now we're
Make
gonna
it worse!
now we're gonna have problems.
I mean, it's not like the freaking Babadook or Candyman,
Hey,
where if you say
hey.
his name, he shows up. Hubert hangs out with me all the time, bro. You ain't got to worry about it.
I haven't met with him in a long time.
You ain't got to worry about it.
Sheesh. I don't want to start. I've enjoyed my life Hubert free.
So, Alex, tell us about this place.
Yeah, anyway, it's called Slice Furnace, okay? And I forget the name of the guy who worked there, so forgive me. I'm going to look that up real fast while I tell you about it. Okay, so Slice Furnace is a place where steel is made. A lot of steel. And they have like a giant like melting area in the middle of the plant and all this good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back in the day, it was like full-fledged, full swing. It actually wasn't. It was still working not too long ago. Also, in 2014, the TAP's Ghost Hunters, the one that you see on TV, the Ghost Hunters folks,
Mhm.
they came to Sloss.
Okay.
And they did a whole episode on it. Apparently, there's a ghost there who's really, really evil or mean or whatever you want to call it. His name is James. His nickname was Slag. James Wormwood. His nickname was Slag. S-L-A-G. Anyway, Slag was working one day, and he works in third shift, so he worked the graveyard shift. And he got to talking to somebody or something, and anyway, he slipped off the railing and fell into the giant molten lava pit. And I immediately just...
Don't even.
Bro, did y'all hear that?
No. So, for the listeners, let me tell you what Alex is doing. He took his headphones off and paused for a moment so that he could hear something he thought he heard. Describe what you just heard.
It sounded like a moaning, kind of. Like a... You ever seen the ghosts off Scooby-Doo?
So I hear that from your mic, like constantly from like cars going down the road. Not gonna lie.
That's probably what it was. It's probably just a car going down the road. My dead end street right here. Yeah.
I forget that you are on a dead end road.
Yeah. That's probably what it was.
You know, I'm home alone right now, and I've gotten up from my computer twice already because I've heard something in the house, and it's not Soph because she's right in here with me. And
Sophie.
this is the like third time we've talked about. The other time was more of like a 2-second conversation. This is like the second official time we've talked about hauntings, and that last haunting recording was painful because every technical issue that could have happened did happen.
It took us 3 hours to record an hour episode.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
just
was
prepare.
crazy.
Just prepare, Nick. They don't like us talking about this stuff.
Come on with it.
Okay, so we're back to my story here. James, he fell off the railing and fell into the molten pit, and he died. like he burned to death. And so since his death, there has been approximately 60 deaths at the plant. Okay, that's like a lot. Okay.
Yeah,
for like one,
that's a lot.
People not let's go on workman's comp. I'm talking about they're dead. They died. No workman's comp for you. You get a casket. Okay?
Like DIED died.
Gone. See ya, my guy. He gone. Anyway, apparently 47 of those were related to the ghost. So they've been like on camera or whatever. They've seen people pushed off of the railing, the same railing that James died from.
Nice.
So
not nice for them, but like cool story.
Right? Yeah. So I think I can't remember what exactly.
Do you care if I add on to this? Because I just like safaried most haunted places in the South, because I knew there was a town in Tennessee that had a story and I wanted to share that. But during this research, I saw Sloss Furnace in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah.
And it says, going back in time to 1882, the furnace of Sloss were warring with fire and metal. Foreman James Slag Wormwood ran the factory's graveyard shift, and he managed nearly 150 workers who kept the furnace running overnight. Over the poorest of the poor took the shift with slag. Low visibility, stifling heat, and a lack of adequate sleep made the furnace quite literally hell for the workers. In addition, Slag Furnace had his workers to take dangerous risks to impress his superiors, resulting in 47 deaths under his management. In 1906, Slag lost his footing atop a furnace and fell into a pool of melted iron ore, dying instantly. Although it was reported that he became dizzy and lost his balance, many thought that Slag's workers had finally fed him to the fire. Now he haunts Sloss, tinkering with the machinery that led to his downfall.
There you go. And that's the story. So, in October, they make the whole plant a haunted trail, like a haunted warehouse kind of deal. And like, it's obviously like not operational, but you get to go through the haunted trail through where that molten pit is of iron, where all these people have died. There's also a graveyard there at the Sloss Furnace as well of the people who died there.
Wow.
So some of them never left the plant or the furnace. So,
nice.
But each year, and they finally stopped doing the haunted trail this year. This is the first year in years they haven't done it. They've shut it, and they're like, we don't want Sloss to have this experience. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? You're too late.
Yeah.
Like, and they would bring in people like the original Michael Myers, the guy that played Darth Vader, like the guy who played Freddy Krueger. Like the real actors would come, and like you could get autographs from them and pictures with them and everything. But it's just crazy to think that all these people died here, and we're just having like a haunted trail there.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know that there was at least one guy who showed up for his shift that night complaining, talking about, well, I told my wife before I left I was going to die at this place. I ain't ever going to get out of this dang warehouse. And then he just died.
Yeah.
According to their website, they have an urban legend that repeats all of this and more. It's frightfurnace.com, for those of you who are interested. It says, probably the most horrifying tale occurred in 1971, when the night before the plant closed, Samuel Blumenthal, the Sloss night watchman, who was nostalgically taking a last look about, found himself face to face with, quote-unquote, the most frightening thing he had ever seen. He described it as simply evil, a half-man, half-demon who tried to push him up the stairs. When Blumenthal refused, the monster began to beat on him with his fist. Upon examination by Dr. Jack Barlow, Blumenthal was found covered with intense burns and died before he ever was able to return to Sloss.
Crazy, bro.
Wow.
Yikes. Yikes.
Yeah. And you can actually watch the Ghost Hunters investigation on YouTube. You can pull it up.
Yep, they have a link to it actually on the website.
I think it's actually one of their first places.
It was in 2014. It was TAPS, TAPS. It was Ghost Hunters. But actually, since they recorded that, they did prove that there was a definitive spiritual activity there and have returned instead to capture more footage. So once wasn't enough for them. They had to go. They had to go back.
Mm-hmm.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, no kidding.
Whew.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
kind of sounds like a story that me and you have experienced, Andy.
It does.
We'll save that for later. All right, who wants to go next?
I've got 2 stories pulled up right here,
Okay.
located right here in my backyard. Not literally, but yeah. So,
Nick's backyard. On it.
yep. Take 3 steps out, and you're in it.
I believe it.
So, I guess here in West Tennessee is home to many haunted places, but 2 in particular, and one of these boys I've never taken you on, and we've been on quite a bit. But this one in particular is Sleepy Hollow Road in Trenton.
I know this one.
Do what? You remember this one?
I remember you telling me about this. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So check it out. And I will say, the only thing. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and read it. This is so for copyright purposes, I will give credit. This is on onlyinyourstate.com. So the article says, if you drive down Sleepy Hollow Road late at night, you better not stop that car. The eerie stories that revolve around this stretch of road in the backwoods of Trenton will give you the willies. Legend goes, if you stop in the road and yell out your car windows, come, quote unquote, come to me 3 times, the ghosts will make themselves visible. What they are, however they look, you'll be able to feast your eyes on the fearful sight. Why? Because your car will not start. Not only will your car die, but it will not start until the next morning. Yeah, you heard us right. Have the audacity to call out to the ghost on Sleepy Hollow Road, and they'll be hanging out with you through the night. Now, the only thing that this story doesn't mention is there is a particular part of the road that you have to do this on. Now, the particular part of this road has a marker on it, and it is supposedly a bloodstain on the road, because at the, well, on one of the shoulders of the road, there is a red fade spot that you're supposed to park over. And so I've heard that it has been tried to have been washed off multiple times, and it keeps coming back. So that's the only thing that this story doesn't mention. So you're supposed to find the blood spot on the shoulder of the road, park over it, and do exactly what the article says. Roll down all the windows, cut your car off, and yell out, "Come to me," 3 times. And legend has it, your car will not start until morning. And you get to have fun with everything that is going to come visit you. I don't know about fun, but yeah.
Now, I'm gonna feed off of this real fast.
Okay. Let me hear it.
And I don't know, maybe I should just save this for us. I want to text it to you all, and you all go yes if you want me to say it on the podcast.
Okay.
I think I know what you're talking about because I thought
I'm
the same
curious
thing.
as to what it is. I'm totally not trying to
I just
stall.
sent you off.
Okay.
I just sent you
So
off.
I'm waiting.
Just say yes if you want me to say it.
Like as a suggestion.
I mean,
as a suggestion, or we do it. I mean,
yeah,
or at least-
say it.
Okay, so this will be a awesome horror movie. Okay,
Yeah.
like you could be like two friends on a Halloween night or something. It don't have to be Halloween. It's just they go out, drinking, having fun, or they have a drinking, whatever. They just go check out the horror thing or whatever. Like they say, do this, yada yada, and you can have them do other things the same night that don't work. But when they come here, it works. And they get stuck, and they have to leave the vehicle. And they have to like run through the forest or wherever this place is, and like hide from these ghosts that are trying to kill them.
Yeah, man. I'd be down to film that.
I would totally watch that.
I would too.
Go out. It'd be cool if we could all go out there and try it.
Nope.
In
Nope.
one of our cars.
Nope.
No. I
Nope.
tried it as a movie.
Nope.
Y'all should already know that about me.
I will recreate it on a different road.
That's right.
But no, I ain't doing it there.
Bro.
I don't want our movie production to turn into one of those stories they get told years later saying, or get put in the list of like haunted movie stages or haunted things that happened during production of
found footage movie.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Cameras got some pretty weird stuff on it.
Four guys set out to go film a movie and then they all died. No one's been able to find them since.
Right.
And that was 4 years ago.
That's if this legend is true.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be the sorry sucker to find out if it is or not.
Got that right.
Oh, gosh.
But dude, that would be a killer horror movie. Like, or
Yeah, it would.
it could have a plot twist and there's really a serial killer killing them or something.
Okay, now
like an actual guy.
Now I almost now Alex, are you up for a road trip?
There? No.
Just say yes. Just say yes.
Sure, man. Sure.
Okay, Dayton, are you up for? Well, Trenton ain't a far road trip for you. Andy, are you up for a road trip?
Has to be a weekend.
No, that's perfect.
I'm in the same
Or
boat.
summer.
Yeah.
Summer
No,
would be
no, weekend is perfect because that's the only time I have too.
Let's make it summer. That way I can live the rest of the year.
Oh no, come on. Y'all really want to go? Y'all really want to walk in some daggone woods when it's like 80 freaking degrees outside at night?
Okay,
During
that's
the
a
day?
fair point. That doesn't
During
sound
the
very
day?
fun.
Yeah, 100%.
During you don't?
During the
Oh
day.
come on, dude, come on. You know I got that night vision camera.
Oh, I know you do. And I don't want to see anything on it either.
Oh, I've erased it. I've erased it.
I want to be able to leave that place and go, well, this is total bullcrap. That's just me.
I so want to do it.
I never went to Palestine, and I don't know if any of you are going to talk about Palestine or not. But just
I
the
never
stories
went.
from that place.
Oh, I never
is
went.
enough. Bro.
Have you ever heard our story?
Yes. You talking about yours and Andy's and
Yeah.
Braden's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to tell you one you probably haven't heard of. Okay, so after we graduate, Sarah messages me. Okay, not Jackson, the other Sarah, and she was like,
A lot of
"Bro,
Sarahs at Bethel.
bro, we only talked to two of them."
I talked to another one. But continue.
Okay, I'll say her name. I'm sure she don't care. Sarah Fowler. Sarah Fowler messaged me. Okay, and she is like, bro, check this footage out that we just shot at Palestine. And I was like, are you still there? She's like, oh, no. We're back in the room. I'm like, okay, I'll check this footage out. I'll watch this footage, bro. This piano is playing by itself. And you already know that thing's got holes in it and busted. And someone's just chomping on the bits at it.
Yep.
Bro, I got goosebumps just thinking about it, bro. Bro, and then they saw an apparition in the corner moving towards them like they had a row figure. And that's when they busted the window out because they couldn't open the door to get out.
Well, okay. Well, we'll tell our story later.
I was like, what? She said, and she started the whole thing off with like, do you remember when we went to, what was that cemetery we went to, Nick, in your car? It was me, you, a couple other people.
I'm so glad that you brought that up because no. That's my second story.
Dang, that was gonna be one of my stories.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Here, I'll let you tell
Well,
it.
no,
I'll let you tell it.
Not your story, but there is a story online about Chapel Hill, Tennessee.
There is. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Chapel Hill, Tennessee. That's not even near me.
No, it's not. Well, it's Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's still your turn anyway because you never told your second story.
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and finish this since Alex brought it up. So it's Hope Hill Cemetery. And then, if you've ever heard of that cemetery, which probably you haven't, the Dollhouse.
Nope, we're talking about two different cemeteries.
Are we really?
Yes, we are.
I've brought y'all. I have brought y'all to the Dollhouse.
I did not go with you all that night to Hope Hill.
Well, no. Here's the thing.
I remember because Braden did, and Braden was like, "Look, I took one of the dolls out of the dollhouse," and then all his crab got knocked in the floor.
I don't know if y'all remember this, but the night of the accident, we were coming back from the jamboree to go to the dollhouse, and Alex said, "No, we have to stop by Bethel and drop me off." That was the intentions that night.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
True story. I expect Nick to not remember that.
Yeah.
But we had gotten to talking about that. It was because of what Braden said.
Oh, you're right.
Like, holy crap, I want to go. And we were coming back from the jamboree to go to the dollhouse. We were going to drop Alex off and then go. And
I remember because I was eating my nachos and I was like, I ain't doing that. Because I was talking to myself when none of you was around. I was like, I ain't going to that.
Because that was one of the reasons that a lot of us stayed in town that weekend.
All right.
Go to that dollhouse.
Are you ready for the
just
history?
to add to the creepiness of it all.
Are you ready for the history?
Hit us with it, my brother.
All right, here we go. Hope Hill Cemetery. This is ghostlyworld.org. It says, Hope Hill Cemetery, located between Milan and Medina in Gibson County, Tennessee, is home to the spirit of a young girl who passed away in 1931. The story of her death has long been surrounded by controversy and dubiousness. Excuse me. According to some sources, the 5-year-old Dorothy Marie Harvey was said to have died from natural causes, while others offer a much more sinister tale of her being raped and then beaten to death by her uncle. Another version states she was killed by a piano that a mover dropped. No definite answer has been accepted as of yet. In any case, her family built a dollhouse over her grave as she was buried to commemorate her fondness for such toys. The original has had to be rebuilt several times due to vandalism and is now maintained by family members. So, that is the history. Now, here is the legend. Once the sun sets, her spirit can be seen playing with and talking to her dolls. Legend has it that if you step away from the dollhouse and look into one of its windows, you can see her peering back at you. Now, for disclaimer, it should be noted that the cemetery closes after 6 p.m. and trespassing is strictly prohibited.
That didn't stop some people.
I didn't stop nobody, apparently.
Now, I remember.
But I do have to give that disclaimer because the cemetery is still an operating cemetery. So, yeah.
Somewhat disrespectful to do such things over people's family members' dead skeletons, you know.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But yeah. Yeah. Oh, I will have to say this. Personal experience. I have seen her ghost. And there used to be a really old, big oak tree right outside the cemetery gate, I guess. used to be, and there was a swing on, like hung from a branch, and I have seen her swinging on it.
Yeah, I remember I went to the dollhouse. It was during lunch. I remember we just eating pizza, and then we went over there. And I said, I'm not going.
I've been there so many times. So many times.
I don't mess with this kind of stuff. Like, I love talking about it, hearing about it, but when it comes out, like, hey, let's do this, I'm out. Like,
See, I was that way about Palestine. Braden convinced me to go, and I did go, but it was at night, and I pull my car inside the drive. The headlights hit the side of the building, and I said, nope. I threw it in reverse and went straight back. I never got out of my car.
The whole atmosphere seems to shift when your wheels cut in that parking lot.
Dude, I was so pumped. I was so pumped to go in, and then as soon as my headlights hit, like as soon as the building got visible to me, I said,
Andy,
no.
It keeps getting brought up. I was going to kind of make this the finale of the episode, but it keeps getting brought up, so I think this is the best time.
Oh my gosh.
I think we should save it.
Okay. All right, we'll save it. I'll talk about Chapel Hill, Tennessee. Chapel Hill, Tennessee is a town in Middle Tennessee. I've passed through it multiple times, traveling to different venues to sing at. And I should state, just for copyright purposes, this information is found on southernliving.com. And this article is, 12 of the South's most haunted places. So let me get back to it. Okay. So this is what it says. It says, if you are from Middle Tennessee, chances are that the story of the Headless Brakeman has traveled through whispers at your family reunions or around the campfire. Legend has it that one night, a train brakeman had the night shift on a train bound for Chapel Hill. His job, a dangerous and risky endeavor, entailed climbing on top of the train and putting on the brakes of each car before the train reached the station. On this particular night, however, the man was thrown from the perch of a boxcar and unfortunately was decapitated. After the accident occurred, locals began to report a strange light moving up and down the tracks. The only plausible explanation? It is the brakeman looking for his lost head.
Oh.
Dang.
Yeah. And there was one more I wanted to talk about. It is in Augusta, Georgia. So, Alex, you may have heard of this. Kind of in your neck of the woods. On the same website, same article, it is the historic Partridge Inn. And I've heard about this on a few shows, like, most haunted destinations, whatever, stuff like that. In Augusta, Georgia, the Partridge Inn has been a part of Augusta's history for 106 years. One of the hotel's oldest guests, Emily, has a long-standing presence in the hotel. On a crisp fall day in the mid-1800s, Emily, the town beauty, was to be married. She waited in her bridal suite at the Partridge Inn, dressing for her wedding in a custom-made Atlanta gown. Just as she donned her veil, there was a knock on the door. An unnamed man told her the tragic news. An unnamed man told her the tragic news. Her young fiancé has been mistaken for a soldier wanted for treason, and was shot as he rode his horse through town. Overwhelmed with grief, Emily refused to take off her wedding dress for weeks. Though courted by many, she never married and eventually died broken-hearted. To this day, guests and employees of the Partridge Inn say that they see a beautiful girl with long, dark brown hair wandering the halls and staircases of the hotel in her white, flowing wedding gown, still waiting for her groom's arrival. Herman Duncan, director of housekeeping, has worked at the inn for the last 25 years. He's seen plenty of proof that Emily exists, including words inexplicably appearing on window panes, doors slamming on empty floors, and eerie changes in temperature. While such a tale might be a detriment to another establishment's reputation, it only serves to underscore the true grace and history of the Partridge Inn. Emily is a part of the fabric of what makes this place unique and special. The Partridge Inn was the first hotel in Georgia selected for inclusion of Historic Hotels of America, known for its distinctly southern details, including beautiful verandas, classic columns, stately magnolia trees, and unparalleled personal service. In the 1980s, the Partridge Inn was an eyesore and scheduled to be demolished, but was saved and rebuilt from the ground up to reopen in 1987. Despite its hardships, the Partridge Inn reemerged after a multi-million-dollar renovation in March of 2015.
Oh, that's crazy.
Y'all.
Bro, can you imagine?
I've never heard.
Can you imagine, Nick? I saw what you sent. I've seen all this stuff about Palestine.
I've got the actual story pulled up.
Yeah, there was another story. Actually, the October after the story that me and Andy are going to tell. There was another story about a pew being thrown through one of the windows.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
In Palestine?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the night that they were there. Sarah and them were there.
Well, it wouldn't have been after me and Andy because she graduated before I even got there.
That's true.
Yeah. And I don't think a person, my personal opinion, I don't think a person could have thrown the pew the way that it was in the window.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. That gives me chills, bro.
We'll get to that in a minute. Nick,
Yeah.
just as a precursor to what me and Andy are about to talk about, why don't you tell the listeners the information you found about
Okay.
Palestine Church?
So this information comes from hauntedplaces.org. Palestine Church. This building is surrounded by a cemetery that dates back to the early 1800s, and the church and cemetery have been abandoned for years. There have been many reports of hauntings here, including shuffling footsteps when no one is around, voices talking, screams, and doors opening and closing by themselves. Many people have reported seeing a ghostly figure sitting at the piano, which sometimes plays by itself. Other people have reported seeing a figure in a hooded black cloak standing in the church corners and not moving. When approached, it vanishes. Cold spots are felt in the church, and the feeling of being watched is reported by many who go there. Outside the church in the cemetery, people report hearing things walking around and seeing shadowy apparitions moving around the gravestones.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
good.
Now, I will say this: after hearing Braden talk about all the experiences that he's had there, every bit of that checks out. Like it's almost verbatim of everything he's told me.
Three different stories, and all of them include the things you just said.
Yes, I've heard like everybody that I know that has gone there and told me what they've seen and stuff like that. Every one of those was mentioned in that article.
Yeah. The one you told that Sarah Fowler apparently shared with you, Alex. I was going to say them, but I didn't want to ruin the story. But we're already talking about it now. So, yeah, the fact that the door closes when you get in there, and that you can't get the door open on the way out, that was not a problem for our group.
I was going to ask you, Dayton, did you actually go?
I did.
You have been.
I went a total of 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
One of them was in the same night.
That's 3 times.
And
Way
that's the
too
night
many.
we're going to talk about.
What? Now, what'd you say, bud?
One of them, or actually no, 2 of those were the same night. So we left and went back.
What is wrong with you?
Well, that's the story. But I'm gonna wait. Andy
Okay.
had to step away for a minute.
Now, did Andy
I'm
go?
gonna wait for him to. Yes, he did. And he went
all
back.
3 times with you?
Yes, Andy was with me all 3 times.
Was Braden there with you any one of these times?
Braden was there 2 of these times.
2 of these times, okay.
And by the way,
For the listeners, if you don't know who Braden is one crazy dude.
So we've
That-
mentioned
yeah.
we've mentioned all of these people on the podcast, but the infamous night that me and Andy are going to talk about, it was in my Ford Escape, which is the same kind of car Andy has. So just get that picture in your mind. In my Ford Escape, it was me driving, Andy passenger, Noah and Braden in the back, and Patrick in the middle of them.
Ugh.
So all 5 of us went.
Notice how I wasn't in that vehicle.
Yeah.
Me or Alex.
I don't even know. I don't think you were on campus when we went. This was, this would have been.
Had I already left?
Hey,
Yeah, I don't know if you had left yet, but you weren't on campus when we decided to go. Because this was like my 2nd semester.
Right.
So you were still at school because we sang in the quartet my 2nd semester.
Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
I muted Alex because he's on the phone.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. I was wondering if anybody could hear that.
Yeah. I muted Alex because he's on the phone. So anyway, what you were saying?
That's all I'm going to share right now until Andy gets back.
Hang on, Alex. Hang on. Bro, what was that shadow that just went left?
It was his dog.
Oh my god.
yeah, Bethany just came in.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Bro, I'll burn this place down.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm about to cry. Oh my god. Oh, what is that?
Hey.
What is that? What is that?
It's what?
What is that? Oh,
What?
this high-pitched whine. What is that?
Yeah, I hear it too.
Oh.
We told you. We told you.
What is that? Somebody talk.
Hey.
I don't hear it. I don't hear anything.
I hear it.
I hear it.
I hear it.
I don't hear it.
I hear it.
I'm gonna try lowering the volume of random people and seeing if it decreases.
This high-pitched screeching noise coming from Alex's microphone goes on for a total of 5 minutes until finally it went away. Yeah.
Ah! Alright, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
It's gone.
for me.
It's gone for me.
No.
I can't hear anything now.
No,
Can't hear anything.
Turn it back
now.
on.
What about now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're good.
it's gone.
Get out of here. I ain't here. No go.
So anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, y'all's experience of Palestine Church, and go.
Who wants to start, Andy?
I'll start. I had a 20-piece chicken McNugget with hot mustard and a large Sprite. I also watched a couple episodes of The Office. That was my experience of Palestine Church.
Nice.
Yeah, that was what Alex did the night that we went.
It was wonderful. It was great.
So
When they came back, things just started happening. Well, weird crap. I'm like, what the? You know.
Yeah. As I stated, it was me, Andy, Braden, Noah, and Patrick. And we all went, and we had made up our mind, like, look, I had been before, and nothing really ever happened. I had been with Noah, Braden, Patrick, and nothing really happened. And so we had made up our mind that we were going to go in there and sit down until we saw something happen, so that we could, justify going back. So we did. All of us. I pulled in, and we got the feeling. You know that feeling that you get in the pit of your stomach when you get to the absolute top of a roller coaster. Just like, oh my gosh, like that
Yes.
feeling.
Yes.
That is the feeling that washes over you as soon as you get onto this property. This like dread, not excitement, but
Oh.
just dread.
I will tell you this right now. The night that I even pulled up to the gate with you four, I felt it. I was like,
Yeah,
y'all are taking me home.
yeah. So
I think Nick was in the car too.
we pull up, we undo the gate because the gate is locked. Also, I should say there is a no trespassing sign on the gate, and we ignored it.
Of course it did.
Anyway, so
Terrible.
we went, and I pulled into the dirt gravel drive, and I turned my car around so that it was facing the gate,
The
so that we could make a quick exit if we needed to. So a couple of us got out, and we were just kind of shooting the breeze. I think me and Braden were walking around in the cemetery a little bit. Nothing really happened.
I don't know if you remember this, Dayton. When we got there, everyone was like, well, the gate's locked. What are we going to do? And Noah was like, I guess we'll turn around. And then Braden was like, no, we're going to unlock the gate. And everyone was like, all right, Braden, go unlock the gate. He's like, no,
Nope.
I don't think so.
So I unlocked the gate.
Nobody would unlock the gate, so Dayton got out of the car and unlocked it.
Yeah. Well, I unlocked the gate. I'm pretty sure I said, like, okay, if I'm the only one with balls in this vehicle, I guess I'll do it.
You did.
So I went and did it. So then we get in, I turn the car around, me and Braden are chilling in the cemetery, and nothing was really happening. Well, it was around this time that Braden was obsessed with these Swisher Sweets that were flavored, like the grape and the peach, and like these little flavored cigarillos. And so he had finished off a pack of them, and he throws the empty paper pack into the door that is open of the church, and he says, "Oh, yeet," and throws it, and it just kind of disappears into the darkness, because we would find out that it is completely dark inside this church, and you really can't see anything that's going on unless you have some lights, because nobody really services are not held in this church. There's nobody attending this church on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an abandoned church, but for some reason people keep it up, I guess for historical artifact or whatever. So Braden yeets his cigarillo wrapper into the door, and it vanishes, whatever. And it was around this time that we started to notice these orbs flying around the cemetery. When I say orbs, I mean like balls of light that are super duper fast, like so fast you almost second guess yourself for seeing them. But if it hadn't been for everyone else saying that they saw them, I wouldn't believe it. They were just kind of flying around the cemetery. They were flying in and out of the church. So we go into the church. Now, this is the first time. I mentioned that we went twice this night. This was the first time. So we went in, and we saw that Braden's wrapper had somehow, now he was probably a good 5 feet from the door when he threw this wrapper into the doorway. Somehow it slid the entire length of the church to directly under the pulpit. And when you got up to where it was, you saw that it was directly in the middle of a spray painted pentagram which was under the pulpit.
Oh, Joe.
So this wrapper had slid the entire length of the floor and landed in the middle of this pentagram that someone had painted onto the floor.
Keep in mind, this is paper. Like, you throw your straw wrapper out in the air.
Yeah, it's paper.
It's not going to go very far, physically speaking.
This is a good probably 50 feet from where he was at.
From where he was, absolutely.
Generously, 50 feet. It could have been more.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, so that's where it landed.
Not only did it just land there, it was staying there.
Yes, it stayed there.
It wasn't moving.
And keep in mind, there are windows busted out. It was the fall time.
Drought.
And it was windy. And this thing was stationary where it was. I mean, there were leaves blowing across the floor, but that thing wasn't moving. So anyway, we get the bright idea. We're like, okay, nothing's ever going to happen if we have all these lights on. So we get the bright idea that the 5 of us are going to go to the back pew, which is closest to the door. That door that Sarah had told you about.
Yeah.
Yeah, come to find out, that door it has a tendency to get caught on the facing. And so when we shut it behind us, it pretty much trapped us in. So anyway, I left my car running.
We didn't know that.
I left my car running, and I just cut the lights off because I wanted to make sure that if I had to, I could leave as soon as possible. We also left the gate open.
That just terrified me so much. I saw Bo jump up behind you in your
Yes.
and I was like, oh.
Yes. He saw it too.
Bo's not in the room.
Oh, he's right behind you. Check your curtain.
Thank God.
Like, I literally saw, and I'm like,
It was just like a black mass just going across his room really quick. I saw it too earlier, but it was going the opposite direction, and I said, "Alex,
Bo is a
Alex!"
large black dog, and so with the lighting that we have on Discord, Alex's screen, and when Bo jumps across his screen, it really just looks like a black mass floating. And you can imagine that would creep us out as we're talking about this stuff.
Oh god.
Anyway,
this story specifically.
Yeah, so we get the
Screw
right
this!
idea that we're all gonna sit down in the back pew. We then realized that door was jammed, and we're like, okay, well, now or never, I guess. So we cut off all of our lights. I think Noah or Braden had one of those headlamp things, and the rest of us were using our cell phone lights. And so the way we were sitting, it was Andy closest to the door, then Noah, then Braden, then me, then Patrick. Patrick was sitting closest to the left-hand wall of this pew that we were on, because this pew was all the way up against the wall, kind of cornered with the wall itself. So then we cut all our lights off. We're just kind of joking around. We're like, ain't nothing going on in here. It's a bunch of bull crap. We're men. Like, just that kind of stuff. Then we started to hear scratching. What sounded to me like nails on a chalkboard, almost. Not screechy, but kind of just like...
It kind of sounded like this.
Like, okay, like if you put a squirrel in a wood room, the sound that it would make if it ran across the floor. Okay? So we heard that, and we heard it start at the beginning of the auditorium. Like at the front, furthest away from where we were. Like around the piano area, which was on the left-hand side of the pulpit if you're looking at the pulpit. Okay? So we heard it come from there, and we heard it for a while, and then it would stop. And then we hear it again, and it would stop. And we're like, what the crap is going on? Is there a freaking rat in here?
I always heard it from different places, too.
Yeah, we heard it all over the auditorium, but always kind of far away from us. Then, this entire sequence, what I'm about to tell you, probably took a whole 10 seconds. Yeah. Because this was very fast. So, in one swoop, we heard it getting closer to us, and then we heard a thud on the back of the wall right beside Patrick's head. And I thought Patrick had hit his head or something. But no, Patrick didn't hit his head. Something jumped from the floor to the wall behind his head. Patrick said, "Oh, shh!" So we all get up. Everybody's having trouble with the door on the right-hand side because there was two doors. So Andy goes out the door that was open already. We're all kind of just jammed in this one spot trying to get out of this jammed door. I kick the door down. I kicked the door off of its hinges.
Off of the hinges.
And then set it back up on where it came from.
Set it right back in its place.
Run to the car, and we bolt out. Okay?
Like jumping in the car while it's moving, getting out of there.
Yeah. Like we're getting it, right? We didn't even close the gate. Like, we just went. Okay? So we were probably a good 15 minutes out.
We got back to the Huntington Walmart.
Yeah, we were a good 15 minutes out. And I think, everybody's like, "Oh, what the crap was that?" Blah, blah, blah. So eventually we calmed down. And I'll let you explain this exchange between us and Noah, Andy.
Okay, so...
I'll say this since I'm the one that said it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, that stuff was creepy, but I don't feel like we were in there long enough.
Oh, you dumb.
I said that.
Oh,
And then
you
Andy,
dumb.
go for it.
Noah said, "Have you lost your mind?" Noah's in the back seat sandwiched between Brandon and Patrick. I'm in the front.
I'd rather walk back to
He says,
school
"Have
from
you
here
lost
than
your
go
mind?"
back.
I'm like, "Yeah, I think we have. I think we have lost our mind. That was ridiculous. That was crazy." And then Braden's like, "Nah, we weren't there long enough. We gotta go back." And Patrick was like, "I don't know. I don't know." It was 2 clear votes. No. 2 clear votes. Yes. Patrick was our break vote. And Patrick originally said no. However, Braden said, "Well, we didn't shut the gate, so we gotta go back." I'm like, holy mother of God.
By the
That's
way,
true.
By the way, yeah, because it's a no trespassing sign on that gate. And so whoever owns the property, if they get there the next day and that gate is open, they're going to know that somebody was on the property. And, who's to say that they don't have a camera somewhere in that church and they couldn't track my vehicle? So we had to go back at least to shut the gate.
I changed my vote. I said, now that logic checks out. We have to go back. Noah's freaking out.
Noah's like, "Oh my God, no."
Noah's like,
no.
"Alex, if we had tied him up to bring him here, leave him overnight, you would think that we are causing him physical harm by doing this." He's like, "I don't want to go back. I'm not getting out of the car. We're not doing this. I don't want to do this. This is bad. We shouldn't be doing this, blah, 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 blah." I mean, rapid firing.
He's rapid fire until a couple seconds later, it seemed as if he was already in shock. Because I saw him in my rear view just sitting there glazed over his eyes. And I'm like, "Bro, what is wrong?" And he says, "Oh my God, no. Oh my God, no. We can't go back. We cannot." And I'm like, "We're going back." But I told him, I said, if it makes you feel better, we will not get out.
That was
we
the
won't
contingency.
get out of the vehicle. I said, "Okay, we're going back because I'm driving. It's my vehicle, and I want to go back. But we don't have to get out of the vehicle since you're so freaked out."
Mm-hmm.
And because one of his reasoning was, "Well, if y'all go back, I'm not getting out, but y'all also aren't leaving me in here by myself." And so I said, "Okay, well, we won't get out then, but we're just going to pull back up and look and see if we see anything. Because obviously something happened, because we all heard what we heard, and I want to see if something's in there." And so he said, "Okay."
Uh-oh.
So we went back through the open gate, and I do the thing I did before and turn my car all the way around facing the gate again.
Mm-hmm. I'm in the passenger seat, so I'm closest to
Andy is in the
doorway.
passenger seat, So I turn my lights off in the vehicle, leave it running, and we roll down our windows. And
Crack.
we see an up.
We cracked them. They're not all the way down. We weren't
Braden
crazy.
rolled his all the way down, but he was also the furthest away from the door. So, like, me and him on the side of the vehicle we were on were the furthest away from the door. Anyway, so we crack them. We're just looking around. This is when we saw an uptick in the orbs that were flying in and out.
Dramatic.
Like, we saw a few earlier. Now it was intense.
It might
Like,
as well
all
be
of us
snowing
saw it.
in April.
Yeah, it was intense. So Andy, I'll let you tell the rest of the story until we get to one part. I want to make sure you don't skip it because Alex read the Google article about it, and I want to make sure we include one particular part. So I'll let you tell.
I said a heart.
That's your dog?
That's my dog.
Thank God.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
I'm about to cry. What the?
Every time. Nick's
Nick's
dead. Nick's dead.
Dude, I feel like I've been Boy, he got a dog.
Oh my God.
Oh.
I'm wishing I had one of them cigarillos now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to bleep my language.
I'm already tense, and that did not.
Oh my God.
Dude, I bet that scared the crap.
Oh my God. I instantly started sweating.
I got so red faced.
Oh, I just my pants. Oh, please excuse my language. I'm gonna have to bleep that out.
You can bleep that out. That's fine.
Oh my gosh,
That was horrible.
that was
Nick,
no joke, bro. Oh
Bro,
my
I'm gonna
God.
let you know.
Welcome to recording a haunting episode with the back porch.
Oh my God.
Alex, I'm gonna let you know in case you didn't hear what we heard, but your dog through your mic and these headphones really sounds like a freaking demon trying to attack you.
Oh my
Sounds
God.
like 10 times louder than you.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh God.
I hope not. It scared me.
I don't know if I can go on. I don't know if I can go on. I think it's time to go home.
I'm in Gummy Bears right now.
My heart rate is at least like 180. Like still, I'm getting dizzy.
That was so
That ain't happened to me in so
loud.
long. That has not.
Alex,
You know what's
user
weird?
Volume 20.
You know what's weird? Is that before that happened, each one of y'all's streams on my end was like super grainy. Now it's like crystal clear.
Stop.
I'm not kidding. Andy, I haven't been able to see facial features
Why-
on you the entire time. And
Why
now
would you
you're
say-
crystal clear.
Why did you say that word specifically, though? Why didn't you say grainy? I don't like that you said that, okay?
You don't like that I said grainy?
No.
Why?
Blurry. Yeah, normal
Okay,
blurry.
let's just continue the story, and we'll get to it, and it'll make more sense later. Okay. So we're there. We're in the car.
God.
And the lights are off. It is dead quiet. Whereas when we were in the church, you could hear the wind kind of like whistle through the windows and stuff. Not in like a horrifying howling sound, but you could just hear it. And it's calm, dead calm outside. And we have the windows down. And we sit there for probably a good 5-7 minutes, and nothing happens. Nothing happens, nothing's going on, and we're like, okay, we're okay. It's not that bad. It's at this point that we start to get a little brave. And
You got a little brave.
I say, Braden was urging me on. I say, all right, if you're here, make yourself known. out loud, out the window. And this is probably the span of like 2 or 3 minutes time that we're all having this conversation about what we need to do. Are we going to do this? Are we going to take it further? And we do. We wait a little bit. We're like, I just want everybody to take a look inside that church door that's still open right there. Everybody turns and looks. And whereas it was pitch black before, like we couldn't see where that paper went in, it's almost as if like the interior is a little bit illuminated by moonlight, which was weird because it wasn't a full moon. It wasn't super bright, but we could see more of the features. I don't know if it's just because we knew how it looked inside and we could make out more details, but it was not like it was.
It wasn't as dark as the first time.
It was not as dark. As we keep looking, we just see what looks like a shade, like a shadow, kind of just like in the back right corner, not the side with the piano, the other side. And it's almost like we just catch it for a second and then it goes away. Like your eyes catch on it and then it just keeps going and there's nothing there. And we're like, that was weird.
Okay.
And then Braden says, oh, look, the left. And it's at this point that we see a much longer vision of the piano man that Alex talked about a little bit earlier. We see him sitting at the piano, playing the piano, like arms moving.
This is one of the weirdest experiences I could ever describe to someone because I don't know how. Because it was dark in that church. It was lighter than it was before, but it's still dark. I could tell you the style of clothes this man was wearing.
Yes.
I can tell you about an average height. I can tell you his haircut. Like, I can tell you the build of this man. Yet I didn't really see any of this. But all of us saw it. But it was so dark in there. Okay, I'll just say this. And people who don't believe in this stuff are going to think I'm crazy. But all of us kind of do somewhat believe in this. So I'll... What was that?
Y'all okay?
Yeah, I heard it.
Some Christmas past.
I heard a cough.
Yeah, that was on my end. That was on my end.
Okay.
I'm still
That
not.
was on my end.
I'm still not over it.
Anyway, so this is a slender man, probably average 6 foot tall.
Don't say Slender Man.
He's a slim man.
Yeah.
Probably about 6 foot tall. He has a very similar hairstyle to me, except closer to his head. So like kind of a swoop over, fade in looking thing. He's wearing a somewhat tight button up, tucked in to somewhat fitted trousers. And the trousers kind of stop right at his ankle. And then you see like dress shoes. And again, I don't know how I saw this stuff, but I saw it. Andy, did you see what I saw?
It's funny because we've never talked about exactly how we saw the piano man, but that is exactly what I saw.
Yeah. Okay. So
Detail for detail.
He's playing his piano. We never heard piano music. Some people report hearing the piano play by itself. We never heard it play, but we did see him plugging at it. Then, unexplicably, this man scoots back from the piano, stands up, turns left, which is toward the wall, starts walking, disappears into the wall.
Yeah, but that's why I go, yeah, you better keep walking.
On.
All right, continue.
Part of this place to the ground.
So it's at this point that everybody had to kind of like recollect and make sure that we all just saw the same thing. And we did. And then I say, oh. I'm floored. Because at this point I see someone right at the door. and it's not a shadow this time. It's not like a shade figure, but it is, and this is the best way I can describe this. It's gonna sound crazy either way, but it's the best way that I can describe this. I see the outline of a person. And size person, it's like shaded in what looks like TV static, grainy film. That's the only way that I can describe. Like inside the outline of this is like static texture. It's translucent. I can see through it, but it's like grainy. And I'm like, everyone see that right there. I had to make sure that I wasn't just conjuring all this up in my head. Dayton corroborated it. Patrick corroborated it. Braden corroborated it. No, I wasn't looking. And then I think it was Dayton or Patrick. Both of you said it at some point, but one of you said first, there's another one. It took me a minute for it to come into focus. It was Patrick. But I saw it.
Patrick said it first, and then I was like, oh my gosh, there is another one.
It's to the left. So like the door that was open, person standing in it, to the left down the steps, another one. Same texture in the stuff. And there's a third one that Dayton points out. This one's different from all the rest because he's the closest to the vehicle. He's off the steps. And it...
Well, no. Okay. I saw one in the door, kind of peek through, and then I saw one on the other side of the door, a bit. It was either shorter or it was sitting lower, and then looking the other side of the door. And then there was one that almost looked like it was leaned up against the siding of the church, but still at the door. It was off of the steps.
Okay, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, so it was like it was off the steps to the right, but it was all the way against the wall. And this one was different because, and Dayton and I had to confirm this, and we didn't confirm this with each other till after we already got back because we bolted pretty soon after this. But all of us kind of felt the same thing. It wasn't necessarily malicious, but it felt like they were greeting us for church. Like, everything that we were seeing was a church service.
Also, during this, and I don't know if anyone else saw this, but I told Andy about it, and he believes it, but I don't know if he saw it. During this, while these greeters are at the church, it's like a typical church service. Like, 2 or 3 men be at the back door of the church when you walk in. Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you here. Welcome to the church. Like that, it looks like a standard fare. I then, probably about 3 or 4 rows back on the left side of the auditorium from the door that I kicked off, I saw the shape of a woman in a dress, like church clothes. I saw her get up from her aisle seat and walk to the altar and kneel down as if she was praying. That was while all the static stuff was going on. So they were freaking out about that, and I was freaking out about that.
Here's why I didn't see that, because
Time out. Bro, these ghosts, spirits, figures, or whatever, were absolutely falling out for y'all. Like,
yep.
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking like someone's playing a piano.
They wanted us to come back in.
They were trying to invite us back into the
Oh, screw that.
And look, here is my hypothesis about why. And this is going to sound so creepy, and I'm sorry, Nick is already on edge. Everybody's already on edge. But this is my hypothesis about why it presented itself as that to us. I think that whatever was in there knew that we were church-going people. And so I think it knew that we were Christians and that a church service was not taboo for us. And so I think that it knew that the best way to get us to come back in was to present itself as if it was carrying on a church service. Would you agree with that, Andy?
I would.
Bro, I
don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I call that bait. I call that bait.
It very much.
It's what it was.
Here's where things took a turn. Here's where things progressively got different. And I'll never forget this. But Patrick said, "Y'all think we should go inside?"
Nope.
Doors locked, windows up. We bolted. Dayton drove away with the quickness.
No. Before that, what made me drive away, because Patrick said, "Yo, I think we should go inside," and Noah was like, "Are you freaking crazy? We are not going inside."
Noah did berate him.
He did. He like chewed him out. He's like, "We are not leaving this vehicle." During this, the one that was in the doorway, the first one that we saw, had taken a step to the first step and then gone back in. And then while Noah was still chewing him out, he went down to the second step and then went back in. Then the third step and then went back in.
Like kept
now
getting closer.
Noah is screaming at Patrick, like berating him. Noah is losing his crap, and Patrick is like, "Oh my God, bro, like chill out." It was at this point that me and Braden, and I think Andy, saw the original figure that we saw walking toward our car.
Because I pointed to Dayton and I said, "Hey, homeboy moved. Homeboy moved."
Bro.
And then we
we
bolted.
needed assistance to get out of the car to come into the service. I would have been very curious looking back, not in that moment, and I still would we would act the same in the moment. Looking back as a story, I would be curious to see what would happen if that person got to the car.
I would be curious to see what would happen if we went in.
I'll tell you that right now, just as I would never have went in.
Okay.
There was no one out.
Fast forward, and I already mentioned this, part of this, but I didn't mention this exact part. Fast forward a couple months, we Googled Palestine Church, we saw all the stories, we're like, okay, other people have experienced this, there's definitely something going on at that church.
This one's fun.
Me, Dylan, and Andy went back during the day. So we're like, it can't be that creepy during the day. It wasn't. It didn't feel the same during the day. You didn't get that gut-wrenching feeling of dread. So we went in. Somebody had cleaned up the church.
Stored
all of the pews were back where they needed to be. The pentagram was washed away. New flooring. The piano had been restored.
Doors were back in place.
How long
cemetery.
was this after all that?
Probably a couple months.
We went that last semester, like in April, and then this probably happened in September, October.
Yeah. So we went back. That had happened, and because Dylan had told us, Dylan is a minister. Dylan had told us that he had heard that somebody went in and blessed it. So we go in. It feels
different.
It feels like a church. It feels normal. So out of curiosity, about a month later. It was around my birthday, so October 20th through the 31st.
I'll never forget this.
Like around that time. Just out of curiosity, I Googled it again. And it was a breaking story on the day of my birthday, October 20th.
Send it to you all.
Or it may not be exactly October the 20th. I know that it was around that. Breaking story, somebody had broken into the church. Okay, I'll say somebody or something because I don't think a human could do this. Somebody had broken into the church, ripped up parts of the flooring again. The pentagram was back, and one of the pews had been thrown through the window in such a way that not only was it thrown through the window, but half of it was thrown through the window.
I just sent you all the article. There's a picture.
It was teetering on the window.
I'm about to look it up.
Look at this picture. Look at the cover of the article. The article readers quote this as vandals.
Yeah.
The actual article, vandals hit Palestine Church again.
So does somebody just want to read it?
I'll read it. Okay.
How much of it do I need to read? All of it?
I can read it if you need.
It's not that long of an article.
No, I'm gonna read it.
It's not that long.
Okay.
It happened October 22nd was the news article when it came out.
Okay.
2 days after my birthday. There we go.
For some reason, the long-abandoned Palestine Church building in the adjacent cemetery on Highway 424 between Clarksburg and Cedar Grove has repeatedly been the target of vandalism over the years, and the church was hit again last week. According to a report by Deputy with the Carroll County Sheriff's Department, he went to the church on October 16th after receiving a call advising that the former place of worship had been vandalized. Upon arrival, the officer found significant damage to both the outside and inside of the building. In his report, the officer noted the following damage and acts of vandalism. All of the storm windows had been busted out, including damage to some of the metal frames. The piano had been moved and flipped over on its side, the front side. The back door was shattered. Wow. Rocks had been used to make 2 holes in the floor, and some of the floorboards have been ripped up and thrown into the holes. 4 pews have been thrown or shoved through the windows and left dangling there. Windows in the front double doors have been busted out. The officer did not report any vandalism to the cemetery, but in the past, gravestones have been knocked over and some have been broken. Authorities had not named any suspects in the vandalism as of press time. There you go.
Y'all, y'all see that cover article picture, right? Of the pews and stuff. There's no way that someone do that in that way. There's no way.
I don't think a human could do that.
Could fit those pews within each other and string them halfway out the window.
Now, a human could break that back door.
Sure.
Because I did.
Could flip the piano over. It'd be heavy, but they could.
I think it'd take a couple people. Pianos are heavy. But by the way,
I'm not going
the
there.
article in that article, I was not the one who broke the door that time, because that door had been replaced and restored.
The whole building had
when
been
we went back
refurbished and restored.
Wow.
It's not.
So I think that's probably going to do it for this episode.
That's all I can stomach.
Yeah. Hey, how about all of y'all? I think Andy has a recommendation this week, but I'm going to tie into that with this. Nick has gotten back on the train of the YouTube videos. He is going to get as many posted as he can in the upcoming weeks. So if y'all are keen to the idea of, watching the video aspects of this podcast, that will be available to you in a very short time. Y'all please subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the channel, like our videos, subscribe to it, turn on notifications so that you see when we post. Also on Apple and Spotify, leave us a rating and a review, and if you have an idea for any upcoming episodes, please leave them in the comments of Facebook post or in the review sections of Apple or Spotify, and we will definitely try to incorporate some of those ideas into future episodes.
Yes, sir. Coming at you with a Halloween recommendation since it is October. If you're looking for a new show to watch and get interested in, Season 2 of the Chucky TV series comes out on Thursday, October 5th. So by the time this airs, it will have come out last Thursday. I just recently binged all of Season 1 on Peacock, and it is phenomenal. It's exceptional. I think that it captures the fun of the Child's Play trilogy, and then also the spookiness of it all. So if you're looking for a new Halloween show to watch, that would be a good one if you have Peacock.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is that gonna do it for us, boys?
I think so.
Well, on behalf of the Back 40, I'm Nick.
I'm Andy.
Alex.
I can't freaking stand you, Alex. God.
I'm serious this time. I'm serious.
All right. Well, on behalf of the Back 40, I am Nick.
I'm Andy.
I'm Dayton.
I'm Alex.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys. Be good people.
What's up, guys? Nick here from the Back 40 Podcast. Don't forget to go follow us on our Facebook page, the Back 40 Podcast, and give us a follow on our Instagram page at the Back 40 Official. We also have a YouTube channel called the Back 40 Podcast. Subscribe and hit that bell so that you get notified when a new episode gets uploaded. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Back 40.